Good evening and welcome to All Things Fisker episode 18. I'm Sean Callahan and I'm joined today by Matt from Tesla Tips, Ocean Views, and Jim from OSR Garage. Welcome, gentlemen.
Welcome.
How's everyone doing tonight?
Pretty good.
We're good.
Excellent, excellent. So we're streaming live on YouTube tonight. We also will post a recorded version of this in audio form to our podcast. That podcast is All Things Fisker Podcast. It's all over the place. I think we mentioned Jim. Welcome back, by the way. I'm glad you're feeling better. Jim didn't join us last week. We are now on, Jim. We have 3 new channels that we're on the podcast. It's now, in addition to Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, let's see here, Spotify. It's now on Stitcher, Pandora, iHeartRadio. There's a few others like TuneIn. We're super excited. The podcast is, I guess it's a hit in certain places. So that's kind of fun. Welcome everyone to the chat. We have the live chat going right now. There's quite a few people having discussions right now. Thank you for joining us. We have, I did a shout out earlier to find out where people are joining us from tonight. So we got people from all over. No one from Europe yet. I haven't seen anybody from Europe, but we got people from Dayton, Ohio, Washington, D.C., Atlanta, Georgia, Chicago, Suffolk, Virginia. We have California. There's quite a few different people from coast to coast. So welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight, episode 18, All Things Fisker. We do have a poll, too, that we're doing tonight. So we'll get to the results when it ties in. But the question for our poll, and we mentioned it in the article we posted earlier today, the poll question is, where are the Fisker Oceans, the Fisker Ocean 1s delivered by the Poseidon leader headed? So that was something that happened since the last episode. We saw a ship dock over in Long Beach, and we saw a whole bunch of Fisker Oceans unloaded. Question is, where are they headed? You have 4 choices: Fisker employees, early investors. That's option A. Option B, first customer deliveries. Option C, Fisker lounges, and option D, pop-up events. So take the poll if you haven't already taken it. Tonight, we have a pretty good lineup. We're going to talk about Fisker Ocean homologation expectations and production goals. I've gotten a lot of questions about that over the past week, and I just wanted to kind of put this information up front. Maybe it got a little lost last week because there was so much stuff from the earnings call, so I wanted to kind of rehash that real quick. And then we're going to talk about Fisker's new website and apps. That's a big one. We talked about it last week, Matt and myself, and we were looking forward to some new features on the Fisker website. So we're going to talk about them, our experience, other people's experience, maybe your experience. If you want to tell us about it in the chat, that would be fun. And then we are going to talk about a new charging partnership out in Europe that we learned about today. Fisker also mentioned about being able to order the Fisker Ocean Extreme, so we'll touch on that. And then we will cover the Poseidon leader. That was a rumor that was going around on many different websites, and it was actually true. So maybe we should believe all the rumors that happen on all these different forums and websites. Probably not, but it was a fun one. And then we're going to talk about the Pear and some updates there. And then we're going to follow that up with notable EV news. So that's our lineup for tonight. Let's get started with Fisker Ocean homologation, expectations, and production goals. So if you didn't listen to the earnings call, or if you did and you got confused, what we need to know about the certification, the homologation, and the production goals is this. So you need context to kind of understand what's going on. And if you didn't listen to the Q3 2022 earnings call, you might not have all the context if you listened to the Q4 2022 earnings call. So back in what was it, November timeframe, when Fisker did their 2 earnings calls ago, they confirmed that in the year 2023, that's the year we're in now, they were going to produce 42,400 Fisker Ocean. So we're first going to talk about the production goals, and then we'll tie it into the government certification. So the production goals for 2023 were 42,400 units. That was predicated on, this is what they told us back in November, it's predicated on detailed supplier and assembly ramp schedule. And that's important because some people were questioning, well, geez, what happens if they don't get all the supplies? Well, Fisker already told us back in November that they can hit that number if they can get their all the supplies, all their parts in time for the ramp schedule that they laid out. Now, the ramp schedule that they laid out was in 4 parts. It was broken down by quarter. So in Q1, that's the quarter we're in now, the Q1 of 2023 goes from January through March. We're ending Q1 here at the end of the month, so March 31st. Fisker said they were going to do 300 units. They're going to produce 300 units in Q1. Then in Q2, over 8,000 units. Q3, over 15,000 units. In Q4, the remainder to round out 42,400 units of the Fisker Ocean. Now, the company at this last earnings call, they said that they maintained their 2023 production target of 42,400 units. So they still anticipate to deliver everything they said that they were going to deliver back in November of last year. And the company said, though, they provided the full year forecast to their suppliers, and they secured, or they're in the process of securing, long lead parts and expect to receive the parts for their first 300 cars during March. So the first 300 at the time of the earnings call, which was just, within the last 7 days, they hadn't had all the parts delivered yet for the first 300 cars that they were going to produce in the first quarter. So that's the part that I wanted to make clear. There was some confusion on that. That's from the word of Fisker. And then how does that tie in to the government certification? Well, as everyone knows, there's been lots of Fisker Oceans that have been built up to this point, many of which we saw in the Magna factory, some that were recently delivered on that Poseidon Leader, which we'll get into later over at the Long Beach port. But there's been a lot of pre-production vehicles that have been built, and those are the vehicles that are actually undergoing the government certification test. Those 250 plus tests that need to be done in order for the vehicles to be able to be sold in over 20 countries, including the launch markets, United States being one of those launch markets. So the government testing, the homologation, all that's ongoing. The company, as far as I know, from what I've understood and read, they submit the test as they're completed. There's a couple hundred tests that they have to complete. They submit each one as they're done, and the government body can choose to review them as a one-off, or they can choose to review them all at once. Fisker believes they're going to get the government certification or the homologation is going to be totally completed by the end of March, followed by regulatory approval. We're not told how long that regulatory approval will take, but Fisker did say to a lot of customers that they will begin delivery, which we'll go into in just a minute, with some Fisker Ocean customers as early as Q2. We did see, however, some delivery quarters as Q1 for people in Denmark. So I covered a lot of ground there. I wanted to get that out right out of the gate because I've gotten probably a dozen emails about this. So I just wanted to nip that in the bud from the get-go. Jim, Matt, do you have anything to add to that full of information?
I guess that covers it, I think.
Yeah. It's a lot of stuff. The one thing I do recall Henrik saying on the last earnings call is that if for some reason they have to start production later than Q1, they will be able to maybe offset some of the vehicles that they didn't build in Q1 or at the beginning of Q2. They'll be able to offset those towards the end of the year. So until Fisker were to tell us, until they tell us they aren't able to deliver all 42,400, not deliver, but produce. That's what I mean by deliver. Produce all 42,400 units. That's what they're producing. So that's the current information. It's less than a week old, or about a week old now, a week and 2 days. So that's the latest there. Hopefully that's more clear to people this time than last week when we talked about that and what people read and after they listened to the earnings call. So let's get into the fun stuff. The fun stuff is Fisker's new website. That's the fun stuff. Now, did you guys have a chance to play with the website? Did you guys check out the website? What are your first impressions?
I think most of the website seems pretty similar. I think most of the changes were in the configurator. Am I correct?
That is what I noticed as well. Yep. It's the configurator. It is the price estimator. It is being able to submit a trade-in. That was kind of interesting. Or to get a value, right? Get a value of your vehicle after submitting your VIN number. And then being able to see a list of what all the charges are going to be, all the price, how the price is, what is the price of the vehicle that you're going to be purchasing? How much are you going to pay at the end of the day? All the different fees, delivery fees, taxes.
I know some people had problems with the VIN for their car for trade-in, and
that's right.
I did it, and I had no problem. It gave me a value for my car. Not very good value, but a value, I'm guessing, a wholesale price on my car. Pretty much like most companies do.
Like Carvana does it. Now I did some comparisons between Fisker's website. I did Kelley Blue Book. I've done what else did I do? I did CarMax, I think I did. I've done a few. Fisker's website, after putting in the VIN number of our Tesla Model 3, came out to very similar to Carvana. I think Carvana actually might have been $1,000 or $2,000 less, if I recall. I did that on Thursday of last week after I was playing around with it. Site worked fine for me on Thursday of last week. It was, we found out that Fisker was supposed to roll out their website, the new website, on Thursday, as well as the iOS app on Thursday, I think that was March 2nd, somewhere thereabouts, March 2nd. And then on March 16th, we're supposed to get an Android app. Well, we did get an Android app update on March 1st. We got a website on March 2nd, but no iOS app yet. And who knows what the version is going to look like that comes out on March 16th for Android. Probably, my guess is the iOS app ends up launching right around when the Android app will launch. But I'm getting sidetracked here. Back to the price estimator, the VIN submission. Now, when I submitted our Tesla Model 3 on Fisker's website on Thursday night, we got a value of $30,000 for our Fisker, for our Tesla Model 3. That's a 2021 Tesla Model 3. It does have the full self-driving. It does have the performance boost, which I think was like $2,000 or somewhere thereabouts, if I recall. And those are obviously not options you can enter in when you enter your VIN number in. So that's additional information that might not be priced within the configurator or within the estimator, the VIN trade-in tool. So when I entered that same information in over at Kelley Blue Book, as an example, kbb.com, I think it is, the price came in at, I want to say for Kelley Blue Book, it was 38,500, 38,000, somewhere thereabouts. So it was, it was a good $8,000 more than what it was on Thursday when I did it on the Fisker's website. When I did it yesterday, and I just did it again today, I got two different prices for the same Tesla Model 3 VIN number. Yesterday, I got $32,500. Today, I ended up getting $32,250. So it's fluctuating maybe based on what's going on in the marketplace. Maybe Teslas are worth more now than they were on Thursday. And I think you maybe mentioned, Jim, to me offline that, or maybe it was Matt, offline, that once maybe we find out what happens after March 31st with the EV tax credit, Teslas might end up, the resale value on some used Teslas might actually go up. So we will end up finding out then when we use Fisker's trade-in estimator tool again. So I'll keep playing with that and kind of see what happens. But for $4,000 to $6,000, I probably will use a third party as far as trading goes if the price isn't as competitive. I think part of the downside was it's what Fisker's done is really good because it's really simple, easy to use. Enter in the VIN and you're done. But it also doesn't allow the end user, me, the consumer, to put the condition of the vehicle. It doesn't allow me to put in for my example, the Tesla Model 3, the full self-driving. I can't tick a box like I can on the Kelley Blue Book website. So I'm possibly missing out. I'm not getting paid. It cost me 10 grand for that feature. That's a lot of money. Maybe I should end up maybe that's where that, 6 to 8 grand gap is in between Fisker's trade-in, tool versus say Kelley Blue Book, which may add, Fisker advertised just a month back or so on Kelley Blue Book's homepage. So I've been using Kelley Blue Book a lot more now that I've seen Fisker's ad on their homepage for the Extreme. So just something to think about. Shop around. As with auto loans and everything, shop around. Make sure you're getting the best price as a consumer. And then also what we saw, Matt and Jim, which you may have noticed, we saw Fisker Finance. Did you guys have a chance to click all the little buttons on Fisker Finance and kind of get a preview of what that looks like?
Yeah, I played around with it.
No, you didn't, Jim. Matt did.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I was going to say that I put in my credit rating and all that stuff. And, I thought I did a screenshot. I should check, but I'm trying to remember what the rate was. I think it was like 6.9% or something.
You're right. Yeah, there was quite a different range between, let me pull them up here. I had them. Let me find them right here. Let's see. I've got the rates. Let me throw them up on the screen for everyone. We can talk about that. Yeah, I think Fisker Finance is going to be pretty neat. I'm most likely going to use that and then decide when I want to pay the car off. But I want to go through Fisker's financing process to see what that's like. Here are the rates on the screen right now. So if anyone can see that, you end up having, maybe I can blow it up here for a minute. There we go. So there was 3 different credit ratings. They made it super simple. You have excellent, very good, and good. Excellent's a FICO credit score of 800 and above. Your cheapest interest rate you can get was 6.3% for a 60-month term. It then goes to 72 months and 84 months. The 72-month term for excellent credit is 6.4, so not much not much more expensive. And then it really jumps for a 7-year loan, the 84 months. It goes from 6.4 to 7.09%, 7.09%. The highest interest rate APR that you'll see on Fisker's site as of yesterday, when I think I took this, maybe it was the day before, is 7.7%. That's for good credit, which is defined as 700 through 739 FICO score. And that would be for an 84-month loan, a 7-year auto loan, 7.7%. Yeah, that's insane. And I don't know if anyone follows the forums, but I ended up watching, actually I didn't watch, I listened to the Squawk on the Street podcast yesterday when I went for a run. And on there, they actually talked all about used cars, used car market, used car supply, demand, prices. And I guess the 8-year car loan is becoming extremely popular amongst consumers, because consumers want the lowest possible monthly payment, even if it pushes out to 8 to 10 years. And I think Phil LeBeau, who's actually doing the report on there, actually maybe mentioned 10 years. But people just want a really low car payment, regardless of how long they'll be paying off the car for. So I found that super surprising. As of right now, Fisker offers 3 different loan terms. That's the most information we've gotten, from Fisker so far in a roundabout way, obviously on their website, through, regarding the Fisker Finance. So that's what we have there. I'm sure these rates will change. I believe the Federal Reserve will end up doing something. They'll decide whether or not they're going to increase interest rates next week. And if they do, expect another 1/4 of a point higher. and that would mean that these interest rates will likely jump probably right around the same amount. Now, do you guys plan to use Fisker Finance? I know, you specifically, Matt. Are you planning to use Fisker Finance and see kind of what that process is like?
Probably not, because my local credit union is giving me rates that are in that under 6% and possibly lower. So I'm thinking I'm probably going to go with the local. Unless the rate is better. Yeah, if the rate is better with Fisker, I'd take it. But at this point, no.
The credit union. Yeah, makes sense. Credit union is the way to go, even if you can save just a little bit. Saving a little bit is pretty important, especially in the, I would say, the economy that we're in. Things are seem like government's trying to slow things down, at least the Federal Reserve. So that's interesting. Make it harder to buy things, whether it be a car or a house or whatever it is. Interest rates go up. It's definitely a lot more expensive to afford things. So let's look at some of the screens. So let me throw the screens, my screen back up online. So here's a couple screenshots that we took as we went through this new Fisker, my Fisker hub, if you will. So right when we went ahead and logged in, now, we're still kind of experiencing this problem and problems. We probably got hated on from the people at Fisker. I don't think they probably liked that. I ended up writing an article that walked through my experience, because my experience was actually pretty bad right out of the get-go. And I get attacked a lot of times for making everything so roses and rainbows, roses, sunshine, rainbows, etc. So when I end up, talking about my experiences, like, I always try to be honest and tell things how they are. And when I do, sometimes one group likes it, the other doesn't. In this case, the people at Fisker, I don't think so much appreciated me sharing this experience, but they seem to fix some of the problems, which is a good thing. On Thursday, I ended up getting loads of 500 airs. I ended up getting loads of 504 airs. I was able eventually to load this screen that you might see on my screen. For the people that are following along on the podcast, it's a new management hub where you can see all your Fisker Ocean orders. You can see your Pear orders, and you can click through them. Still to this date, that left-hand nav where you can actually select your order is super slow. It takes probably 30 to 45 seconds. And I have extremely fast internet. It's 500 megabits downstream, so it should load like boom, quick. And it takes 30 to 45 seconds to load this menu bar, which means it's trying to get my orders. And when it works, I see all this stuff here, where you get to see your order details, you see your order ID, your date you reserved it. All this information is great information. Before, a lot of this was on two different screens. Now it's all up front on the same screen. When you click the edit build button down below, if you have that option, you'll be able to edit your build in the configurator. If you aren't able to do that, that means your build has been locked, like the one you see here on the screen. And then you have that estimate price, the price estimator, and then obviously you can cancel your order if you want to. So I hit the estimate price button, and I'm taken into this screen here where you have two options: home delivery or event pickup. Did you guys see the event pickup?
Yes. Yeah, I read that little disclaimer that they gave on that. It seems kind of interesting.
Neat. Yeah, it says, we'll be hosting pickup events in select markets, and we'll notify you if there will be one in your area when your vehicle is scheduled to arrive. To continue with the order, please select home delivery. Any delivery fees added to your total will be removed if you take delivery of your vehicle at a pickup event. More information about Fisker pickup events coming soon. Super cool idea to get people to give people their Fisker Oceans, to allow people to take delivery at a, maybe the truck comes with the transport truck comes with 8 to 10 cars, and maybe that's the pickup event. Maybe it's in a parking lot somewhere. Who knows? Maybe it's at a pop-up location. Maybe an event where you can see a Fisker Ocean, test drive a Fisker Ocean. Maybe like Las Vegas, and then maybe you get to also take delivery of your Fisker Ocean. So pretty cool. As you go through the options on the left there where it says information, you also have a build price that kind of changes in real time. So after we went ahead and put in our trade-in, you end up seeing that our trade-in estimate, $32,000 over here. Ooh, $32,000 over here. And
Ouch.
right? That was, Jim, that was actually when we went on our road trip in November.
Yeah.
With the Tesla, before we went, I wanted to see what the car was worth. It was worth like, I want to say 58,000, something like that. So it just in November, what is that? 4 months ago, 5 months ago, less than that. Oh my God.
The price is gone.
Horrible, right? It's gotten chunked.
How many miles you got on it?
I think 17,500 or thereabouts. So not a ton.
Seriously?
Yeah, is that a lot to you or a little?
No, I had 30,000 miles on my ID4, and I got that from the dealership.
Dang, that's crazy.
On my ID4.
Yeah, and that's but as I mentioned earlier, the Kelley Blue Book is a little bit higher than that. And Fisker's website actually has a disclaimer at the bottom. I can go through all those here in just a minute. I got to pull that up actually. But the website actually, after you put in your trade in, you end up getting an estimate price. It goes up there, and then you can enter in your down payment. You can choose cash. You can say, hey, no down payment, 60-month term. All those options I shared earlier. You can have different drop downs you can choose, and it shows your APR. After you hit update, you basically end up seeing a list of your build price. Now, I posted a couple videos yesterday where a gentleman by the name of Adam, who's got a really cool channel, invited him to the show tonight, as I have previous times. Maybe he'll join us on one of these. And he actually did 2 cool videos. One was walking through the steps to purchase a Fisker Ocean. The other one was to, kind of go through, all these different build price numbers, kind of went line item by line item. And I thought it was pretty useful. So I posted those videos, and they've actually had a great feedback so far. So that's pretty cool. And then also,
hey, I just want to interrupt real quick, Sean. I just plugged in my updated info for my VIN, and I'm actually surprised that yours is so low compared to mine. I have a 2018 Model 3, 60,000 miles. I have autopilot that I paid for extra, but like you said, you can't put that in the thing. My estimate is 24,175 for a car that's much older than yours. About
$8,000 difference.
And a less expensive car because it's a rear-wheel drive, long range.
Okay.
So,
mine is a long range too.
So yeah, I have.
I don't think Fisker likes Tesla, so that's why you're getting such a cheap price.
Yeah,
that could be. Maybe it's worth going to.
I'm going to compare to the what is Carvana and Vroom and all those. I haven't done a comparison yet, but I'll probably do that soon.
Yeah, I don't think we'd be a good steward, a good consumer, I should say, by just going with the right out of the box, just choosing the Fisker trade-in. I think it's a nice option. I think it's going to be a very easy, seamless. Someone will probably come to our house, maybe pick up the car like a Carvana. But obviously, I want to get the most, money as possible. I want to drive this price down as much as I can, the purchase price. So that's real money. I don't want to leave it on the table. So yeah, I don't think we're done with this yet. Maybe Fisker will tweak what they're doing here. Maybe they'll give a little bit better price as time goes on. Who knows? But yeah, pretty cool though, still to see the trade-in, that we've been wondering, people have been wondering, are we going to be able to trade in our cars to Fisker? How are we going to do that? Here, we can do it. So that's pretty good news. We've been wanting information on Fisker Finance. So we got some information. They now show different loan terms. They show different interest rates based on credit rating. That's pretty cool. Now we have this section here where it actually breaks down our build. You have the vehicle configure price. Now that's an all-inclusive price for the Fisker Ocean 1 customers. So this is the Fisker Ocean 1 price. And then you have a delivery estimate of 0. And I found that kind of interesting because when we went ahead and confirmed our Ocean Sport, which was a bear of a problem, that ended up taking me, 48 hours to try to go through the process of confirming that order, which was a pre-order from August. I got loads of errors there. I was extremely frustrated. That's the article I wrote that detailed all my experience. And I provided some suggestions on what I thought Fisker could do. Having worked in AWS, Amazon Web Services previously, I thought, hey, I'm going to give some tips to Fisker. Maybe they'll listen to them, probably not, but I'll give them, and maybe it'll help somebody out. And I even told the Fisker support people, hey, you got my phone number, call me. I'm happy to do like real-time debugging on my computer, try to figure out what's going on. Because I heard some people that had Windows computers had no problem, whereas people with MacBooks had issues. So
it's funny. I've never had an error on my PC loading the Fisker site ever.
Yeah,
I always get right in the configurator. Not a problem.
And what's funny too is almost every engineer I knew that worked at Amazon, every engineer that I worked with at my previous startups, we always used primarily MacBooks, MacBook Pros to do software development. Maybe the people at Fisker use Windows computers to do software development, quite possibly. Unless you're obviously an iOS developer, you're using most likely a MacBook. But the crazy thing is someone's got to test on Mac, even if they don't use that as their primary developer setup, developer hardware setup. Because at least probably a third, if not a quarter, of the customers have Macs. So you alienate quite a bunch of people that would expect a seamless customer experience, a friction-free experience, and that wasn't the case. So nevertheless, we got through it. We did it. This is the Thursday, I think, experience that we're looking at here. Maybe Thursday, or maybe I redid it again on Saturday, went in and looked again.
I got one more comment on the delivery estimate. From what I've read on Fiskerati and Ocean forums, it seems like everybody is getting that does the one order has 0 for the delivery estimate.
Correct.
Anybody who does a sport, I guess it was extreme and ultra, are getting a different amount, like a $400 or $500 delivery for their home. So I'm wondering if the one gets it for free. Is it possible?
It's possible. My sport that I confirmed on, I don't know what day that was yesterday. All the days blur together. Maybe that was, I forgot what day that was, Sunday, Monday, I don't know. But I ended up getting a delivery, estimated delivery price of $250 for the Fisker Ocean Sport. Granted, I'm only an hour and maybe 40-minute drive south of Los Angeles with traffic. So maybe not with traffic, but moderate, good flow of cars. So maybe they drive it down here from LA. Doesn't cost much, possibly, or maybe they transport it. I don't know. But I know there's a lot of people, like we mentioned maybe offline last week. There's a lot of customers in San Diego that have ordered Fisker Oceans and Fisker Ocean ones. Somebody just right down the street from me ordered one, so it'll be fun to see them driving around like we do Teslas everywhere in our area. So pretty exciting. But the fees, unfortunately, I don't have a screenshot of all the breakdown of the fees. I didn't hit the expand button, but this section here, fees and deductions, you basically end up getting all the taxes. You end up finding your registration price there. All the charges that you would expect to pay if you bought a car anywhere, they're all kind of lumped in under fees and deductions. No deductions that I saw, I don't think. It was even though that does say negative 1428, I think it was primarily fees. But then you have total finance amount. I should go and double check that one since I'm in here right now. You have total finance amount, and then you have the final section, which is your estimated monthly payment. So with $5,000 down, a $32,000 trade, and our monthly payment still $693. Kind of most expensive car payment that I'll ever have. But that's kind of where we're at. So let me share my screen right now, my other screen, and we can go have a look at this. This is kind of real time. And let's switch over here. So I went ahead and pulled the configurator on a different browser. Let me share this part of the screen, and maybe we can check out what those extra fees are and deductions. All right. Time to design your Fisker Ocean. Okay, here we go. Hopefully it works. Doesn't look too promising, but maybe it is. I don't think that's it. Yeah, unfortunately, it's not going to pull up. We're still stuck with these. It looks like, unless that's my live screen right there. Is that my live screen? Oh, it is. Okay, cool. So it works. So we have, let's estimate your price. Now let's go ahead and look at those fees and deductions and see what they are. So, the deductions is my down payment that I put, the $5,000 down payment. So it ends up becoming a negative balance. That seems to me like, I guess that's a deduction. So the deductions showing on my screen for the people listening and not watching, negative $1,690. That's primarily because I put down, showing a down payment of $5,250. I believe that might be the amount that I ended up. That's actually a different amount. Don't get confused, but that's not to be considered or the same as my reservation and order fees paid. So separate. In this particular example, I also did $5,250 down. And that's why we have a negative number. But you have a processing fee. In my case, it's $85. Destination handling fee, $24,038. So $2,438. That ends up being the amount of money, I believe, where the car comes from Graz, Austria, to some sort of shipping port. Maybe, who knows where it's going? Maybe it's England. Maybe it's somewhere else. And then maybe France, who knows? And then it goes over to through the Panama Canal, for my case, and to Long Beach Port, $2,438. Title and registration fee, $739 here in California, super expensive. And then our taxes, $5,548, and that's on a $68,999 car. And as I mentioned, you end up with a $683 payment. So that's this estimator. And then you have some disclaimers down here. This is kind of the big takeaway here is everything's subject to change. That's kind of what you should take into consideration here. So it's like everything is subject to change. Number 3, number 5. Obviously interest rates go up and down. So that's just the way it is. The fees are subject to change for the estimated delivery fee. So, what you look at today is going to be different than what we look at in April, if that's when our vehicle is going to be delivered and we have to go through the real financing process. So that's where we are with the Fisker estimator. And when you're done, you basically just hit update and it takes you back to the main screen. So that's that. That's the estimator. That's the Fisker Finance. That's the new portion there of the website. And then we also have the configurator. Did you have a chance to look at the configurator?
Yeah, I did.
You did.
I noticed they fixed a lot of the issues that we had noted before. I think it was the Black Abyss and Black Abyss Plus were reversed in the previous 3D. They fixed that. Right. They fixed the Ultra sunroof issue. They fixed the what else was it? Was it the taco tray?
Yep.
They fixed. There's a couple more things too.
Yeah. Now I didn't see.
They didn't fix the prices of them, did they?
No.
I was just going to mention the price. Yeah, they kept the prices the same as far as I know. I did, just remembering from what they were before, going back, the prices appeared to stay the same. I saw a couple people in the forum saying the prices went up. I don't think the prices went up from what I've seen. And Matt, you did a great video of the configurator. I went and flipped through that pretty quickly, and the prices look the same. So you recorded what the configurator showed back in the day, and granted, there's been some improvements visually, but the prices still are the same. So for the people thinking prices went up, I didn't see any prices going up. If you did, let us know in the comments. But hopefully everyone's gotten an opportunity to go in and check out the configurator, play around with it. Not too many changes if you've already played with it, but it's nice to know that they may have, did the enhancements to it. And then we got some new, features. So I did notice too on the Fisker website that, all this kicked off, I think on Thursday, maybe early Friday morning, when we got that email that said time to design your Fisker Ocean. Now, we pre-ordered our Fisker Ocean in August of last year, and we started trying to design our Fisker Ocean, when we got that email, and then all through the weekend. Sometime too between when we got that email and when I noticed it, the website changed to say, hey, you can now order your Fisker Ocean Extreme. So the company's now taking Ocean Extreme orders. They still, looks like, route you through the reservation process, and then maybe you end up getting to go through the process like we did with our Ocean Sport, where you're able to select your trim, and you go through the configurator one more time, select your trim, and then you can choose to purchase the vehicle. But you don't get to lock your vehicle. You just get to kind of go through and say, hey, I'm committing to a Extreme or a Ultra or a Sport. Now, when we went through the process for our Fisker Ocean Sport, it did give us the option, as many people probably know who previously pre-ordered, you could actually upgrade if you had a lower trim like the Sport or the Ultra. You could go from Sport to Ultra, you could go from Ultra to or you could go Sport to Ultra, or Sport to Extreme, or you could go from Ultra to Extreme. We chose to just keep with the Sport because this is going to be our second Fisker Ocean. I think that's probably going to be enough cars for our family. 2 is enough. We do have a Pear on reservation as well. So if we get the Pear somehow magically before the second Fisker Ocean Sport, then we'll go with the Pear. If we end up getting the Fisker Ocean Sport before the Pear, we'll end up keeping the Fisker Ocean Sport. So that's kind of how it's going to work for our family. But we have, 3 orders in for Fisker vehicles right now. Did you guys, Jim, I think you got the email that said, hey, it's time to design your Fisker Ocean. Yeah. You got that on, when did you get yours? Like Thursday or Friday?
Something like that. I don't remember. It's either Thursday or Friday.
Got it. Yeah, you forwarded it over. Yeah, that was I think I saw yours before I saw mine. So that was.
I didn't know everybody got them, so I was like, I thought maybe this was like a select thing for ultras or the next people in line or something. I didn't know everybody was going to get them.
Yeah, that was pretty neat. Now, let's take a moment here to go ahead and do one thing that we always forget to ask. Go ahead and hit the like button on the video if you're enjoying this, random conversation about Fisker electric vehicles and all this stuff. It's great if you like the video. When you like the video, YouTube helps others discover the video. So hit the like button. Go ahead and take a minute to please do that. That'd be great. Right now we have 37 likes. Maybe we can get that up to 70 or something. There's 100 and I think it says 109 people, 117 people watching right now. So maybe we can end up getting a few more likes. That would be super generous of everybody. If you can do one thing for us, give us a like. There's 3 channels right now that are probably broadcasting that. Jim's been having some difficulty getting it to stream on his, but he's got it going tonight. So OSR Garage, you can check out his channel. You have Matt's channel, Mountain Ranger, Tesla Tips by Mountain Ranger, and of course the Fiskerati channel. We're trying to get some other guests as well to join us. Maybe we'll have, from 3 boxes to 4 boxes to 5 boxes. Maybe it'll, have some cool other guests join us in the future as well. And let's go to the next thing. Did anyone see this today? This was an out of the blue one for me. Fisker announced a new EV charging partnership today. That was kind of a shocker to me. I didn't know they were looking for another EV charging partner in this case in Europe. But we ended up getting another charging partnership announcement. The charging partnership announcement today was with a company I've never heard of, but it sounds like they have quite a big network. It's called Deft Power. Have you guys ever heard of Deft Power?
No.
Not me either. Maybe it's a huge European thing. And I don't think we have anyone in the chat tonight from Europe. Do we? Anyone from Europe? If you know about Deft Power, if anyone knows about Deft Power, let us know. But supposedly they have 425,000 public charging points throughout Europe. When I went and searched them up on Google and went to their website, they don't have a totally updated website. It said they had over 325,000 charging points. So sometime between the press release and whenever they last updated their website, they've gotten another 100,000 charging stations. So it's a lot of charging points, and it's really good news for people in Europe, because last we knew there was only one partnership Fisker had. They had the partnership with Allego, and I probably butchered that. Allego, something like that. And that company had, I thought, quite a lot of charging network, public chargers, 30,000, but 425,000 obviously trumps that. And this is also good news, because not only are the people who purchase a Fisker Ocean and take delivery of it by March 31st, 2024, those people are going to not only be able to access the DEF Power network for those 425,000 charging stations, but they're also going to get a free year of charging through Allego. So that charging partnership still stands, where you're going to be able to get, if you're a European customer, or maybe if you're able to, take your, like if I'm in San Diego and all of a sudden I move to like France, maybe if I took my Fisker Ocean for the first year, maybe I get, free charging in Europe for a year. That'd be pretty cool. Probably not going to happen.
It won't work. It's a different.
I know it won't work.
This is U.S. and this one's Europe.
Yeah, North America. I know.
Yeah, the charge port's going to be different.
I love the shirt. That's very nice.
Yeah, it's got all the world charging standards on it.
Can't you get an adapter? You could probably find an adapter, right?
I think so. I think there probably is.
But that probably wouldn't work. I was kidding. But you're definitely
Tesla has all the adapters, though.
Yeah. You're going to get a year of free charging with Allego on top of access to this 425,000 public charging points through DEF Power. So that's pretty cool. Now, the company also mentioned that it's going to be fully integrated into two things. One, the onboard navigation. So on that 17.1-inch display, that's neat. Very similar, it sounds like, what we're going to get here in North America for ChargePoint. But one thing I thought was interesting between this press release today from with DEF Power compared to the ChargePoint one, it specifically mentioned that the customers are going to also be able to use the Fisker Flex Charge app. Now, the current app right now, if I recall, let me go ahead and take a look, but like Fisker iOS app, if I search Google, it's called the Fisker Flex app. Maybe they're going to shorten it when they update it. Maybe they're going to start calling it the Fisker Flex app, maybe. Also, this specifically says the Fisker Flex Charge app, and they capitalize the C in charge, which tells me that maybe there's going to be a second app, maybe there's going to be an app dedicated specifically to charging, whereas the ChargePoint press release with Fisker said that you would be able to access, the ChargePoint network on that onboard navigation, right, in the infotainment section, but you'll also be able to use ChargePoint's app. So maybe, just maybe, DEF Power is going to make an app for Fisker. Maybe Fisker is going to call that the Fisker Flex Charge app. I don't know. Thought that was kind of interesting. So that was some news we got today. Do you guys have any thoughts on this? 425,000 chargers, quite a bit.
I think that's good, definitely for Europe. I think actually it gives me a little positive hope that they may do a second deal for U.S. charging.
Bing, 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 bing.
Yeah,
I think so. I think so. That's what I would hope.
ChargePoint has got the level 2 down because they're in a lot of states. I think they said they're like in 48 states. But it's mostly L2.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the one thing we're still kind of missing here in North America, and I added that today in my article. I probably got, who knows if people like this one. But as a consumer, I know Fisker mentioned a while back, and I loved it when they ended up saying that customers in North America would end up getting a year of free charging with Electrify America. Haven't heard of that since, and that was like a long time ago. So I'm hoping that gets revived again. As a consumer, I would love to have a year of free charging, just like the folks over in Europe. So I'm hoping that is re-announced. I hope that ends up happening. If it doesn't, not the end of the world. But if it does happen, I will certainly leverage that on a road trip across country in my Fisker Ocean. And if I were to do that, it would be pretty fun to document, and it'd be fun to go from charging network to charging network, whether that was a Charge Point, Electrify America, whoever it may be, or may not be. Who knows? We still need more information. But that's the question that I have is, will Fisker offer free charging for customers in North America? And that's one question we're waiting for among many in regards to the Fisker Ocean. So that was that announcement. Now, this is a fun one. Let's go ahead and take a look. Let me see if I can pull it up here. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Fisker Ocean getting unloaded in Long Beach, because that was actually pretty neat. We ended up seeing, you guys probably saw that video. Maybe you saw that video. Yeah, you did. Yeah, that was pretty cool to see that. There we go. We got the Poseidon leader, and we were, a few people were tracking that, and it started off as, it's a rumor. It definitely was a rumor, and people who worked, one person that ended up sharing the information, I guess they got wind of the manifest, and it said Fisker on it, and we ended up finding a site through one of our followers on Twitter of a website called Import Genius. And Import Genius, if somebody that's listening to this is really interested in tracking this stuff, there is a way to track different companies who ship internationally or ship in general. And Fisker has, Fisker's listed on there as Fisker International, and they list all the vehicles that are being shipped. And for some odd reason, they include the VIN numbers. So that's actually kind of interesting. And we ended up sharing a few of the VIN numbers that were supposedly on this particular Poseidon leader. And there's the screenshot that I got. And let's take a look at this. So there's the cars getting loaded onto a transport truck, Hanson's and Adkins. And there they go, rolling down the freeway. And there they are at some sort of a distribution center. Pretty cool to see. I thought that was actually neat. That one's a night drive, and it's got the 22-inch air glider wheels on it.
It's almost your spec.
I know, right? It looked like it had black abyss interior too. It just doesn't have the slipstreams. But you see quite a few different Fisker Oceans in the background. You have a Mariana, and you also had a camouflage Fisker Ocean. So maybe that'll end up, the question, and we have a poll right now. So let's go to the poll. What does the poll show? We had the question that we asked everybody. We said, where are the Ocean ones delivered by Poseidon Leader headed? And so far we've had 89 votes. Let's go ahead and end that poll right now. And we're ending it. And let's see what the results are. Do you guys, one of you two want to read the results?
Oh, where'd it go?
It's the bottom of the chat, I think. So there we go. Okay, so we got the results. We have Fisker employees and Fisker lounges tied at 31% each apiece. Fisker employees / early investors, 31%. Fisker lounges, 31%. Fisker customer deliveries, 22%. And pop-up events, 14%. So that's what our audience said. 89 votes. That's a good turnout of a poll. I personally thought Fisker lounges. We ended up getting some, I don't know if I'd call it news, but we got some word earlier today from Fisker's Whisper, who ended up posting on the Fiskerati forums earlier today. He posted a image and maybe a couple of images of the Fisker in Salt Lake City today. And the reason I mention that is because the Fisker Ocean was on stage at an event, and the event happened to be the Qualtrics, what does it call it? They call it the X4, the Experience Management Summit. So that particular conference is going March 7th through 9th. Today's the 8th, so it's halfway through. And the Fisker Ocean was on display. For what reason, I don't know. I don't know what the connection is. Maybe Fisker uses Qualtrics potentially. I'm not sure. But the car was there. It had a cover on it. And the person who was standing up on stage ended up making the announcement that this particular Fisker Ocean was passing by. How it was passing by, I don't know, if it was delivered in Long Beach, but it was passing by headed to the Los Angeles Fisker Lounge. So I think Fisker Lounges is where those vehicles are headed. The one that was on stage, I can't remember what it was. It might have been I want to say it was Silver Lining, but I can't remember what it was. I'll have to go back and check the video. So I thought that was interesting. My guess is the one that was on stage definitely was on the Poseidon Leader. I think that was the one that we saw, and the vehicle looked really cool on stage. A lot of people were liking it. The crowd was pretty stoked to see the Fisker Ocean there, and it's just weird that this stuff ends up just being kind of falls under the radar. Some of these cool events. I think some people might have bought tickets to go to this show if they knew that they could check out the Fisker Ocean, and likely possibly a production version of it, or I guess it would be production version if it was made after November 17th of last year. So pretty neat. So yeah, Fisker Ocean Lounge, that was my option. I can't vote in these, but I'm going to go with, I would have put the poll. I think Fisker Lounges would have won because they were both tied 31%. I think I would have put it ahead if I was able to vote. Did you guys vote in the poll by chance?
Yeah, I did Lounges too.
You did Lounges too.
Yeah.
What about you? Jim, did you do a vote? No.
No, I didn't vote, but
what would you have
I would have probably said either the Fisker Lounges or being used for test vehicles, something like that. Yeah. Test drives, that type of stuff.
Yeah, that's what I would have thought. So now the one cool thing that we saw last week was the Fisker Pear. We ended up seeing that, and the Fisker Pear, we got two new images of it. One was kind of like a front shot of it, and the other one was kind of like an aerial side angle, and it really revealed the rear exterior of the vehicle, and the brake lights kind of surrounding the back window. It was pretty cool. But we got some news from a Taiwanese newspaper. It's called the Liberty Times. They ended up reporting earlier in the week, I think it was yesterday actually, they reported that the Fisker Pear production line in Lordstown, Ohio is going under preliminary renovations at this current moment. And the company said that they expected that production line for the Fisker Pear to be fully designed and upgraded by the first quarter of 2024. So that's over in Lordstown, Ohio, that Foxconn plant. They ended up acquiring the Lordstown Motors factory and are doing I don't know what type of strategic partnership with them now that they being Foxconn own the Lordstown, Ohio plant. They're going to be producing and becoming the contract manufacturer for the Lordstown Motors. I think it's called the Endurance truck. Very similar to what Fisker's doing with Magna over in Austria, and what Fisker's going to be doing with Foxconn in Ohio. So pretty neat. And Foxconn also said that they were going to increase its capital investment. It was over 2 billion yuan, which I think came to I'm going to not even guess the amount. I was going to say $350 million. I think it's somewhere thereabouts. But over 2 billion yuan, and probably butchered that as well. But they're making an investment, and that's going to only help people in the community, which is super awesome. And that is our Fisker Pear news. Now, there's been a few people writing in comments on the Fisker articles that we publish, Fiskerati articles about Fisker. They keep asking for more information about Foxconn. They want to know, Foxconn, I guess, is having some issues with the Endurance truck, and they want to know should they be worried if they have a Pear reservation? and should we expect there to be issues maybe with the Fisker Pear? And Foxconn, they say, hasn't produced many vehicles to date. So how can we expect a good quality product if they're focused on building iPhones and not EVs? So there's been a lot of chatter, rumbling, questions in our comments on the Fiskerati site about Foxconn and their ability to produce a Pear, and EVs in general. Do you guys have any thoughts on that?
Yeah. See, Foxconn, they bought out the plant and bought out Lordstown out of that plant. Lordstown is technically still building those and working with Foxconn to build those endurance trucks. So a lot of that stuff that was already there is what they're working with. They didn't go out and get new drive motors and new everything. Foxconn didn't put all this stuff together. This was already put together by Lordstown. That stuff was already there. So this isn't like anything that Foxconn had to do with it. I mean, as far as I understand, Lordstown is basically still building the trucks in the now Foxconn factory. So they're working with them and helping them produce it. But so I wouldn't put any blame on Lordstown Endurance on Foxconn. I can't imagine they had a whole lot to do with it, really. So, yeah. But they've only built like, I think it was like, I don't know, 10 or 15 maybe, and they had to recall all of them because of a drive issue. So, so I really don't think Foxconn had much to do with that truck at all. Probably very, very little.
Makes sense. Yeah, so that's something that people want more information on, is just how that relationship's going to work. How is Foxconn going to be building these? And I know Foxconn has come out with 3 different models back in 2021 that they unveiled. Really nice looking vehicles. So hopefully we get more information there. And as I told the people in the comments, I'll publish some articles when I see those. So I'm interested too, because I have a reservation for a Fisker Pear, and obviously I want a high quality vehicle. And as I mentioned earlier tonight, depending on how long it takes for me to, my reservation number to be called, I think we're around 2,000 or maybe just under, based on when we reserved. Maybe we'll get that one. Maybe we'll get our Fisker Ocean Sport before we get the Pear. Who knows? Maybe we'll sell the second Fisker Ocean Sport and get the Pear. Time will tell. And stay tuned. So that's that. Now, I want to jump into notable EV news. There's been like a lot of stuff that we've seen over the last week. I'm sure, Jim, you've been tracking some things as well. Maybe you, Matt. One of the things that I thought was kind of interesting. So every day when I find something interesting, I throw it on the Fiskerati forums under where do I throw it usually? And I throw it under the general discussion forum. And there's been a couple things that I thought were interesting. The first one, for people who are follow EVs, we got price decreases again out of Tesla. So Tesla's on the attack again, with 2 different models, the Model S and the Model X, being dropped by 4% and 9% respectively. So they're making their higher end vehicles a little bit more affordable. So maybe people who can afford those higher priced vehicles, maybe they're kind of feeling a pinch, and should I pull the trigger? Should I not? Okay, Tesla's going to lower the prices a little, and maybe that'll get people off their butts and clicking the purchase button. So I thought that was kind of interesting news. So now it looks like they've kind of dropped the prices virtually across the line on everything now. So that's kind of where they are. You don't really hear too many people talking about having to compete as far as on price with Tesla. We did see Hyundai launch the Kona Electric, or they kind of unveiled that one earlier in the week. I thought one thing was kind of cool on that. They end up having, and Matt ended up sharing a photo, I think possibly of the Bolt EV, but the Kona, the design looks really nice for the Kona Electric. That one, the article that I read talks entirely about competing with Tesla. probably the Model Y, but I don't know why, but that's what it talked about. And I thought one cool design feature that they showed was the charge port being on the front bumper. I thought that's kind of a neat thing. Was that a picture, Matt, that you shared? Was that of the Bolt, a 2019 Bolt?
No, that's the first gen Kona had.
Okay, the first gen Kona.
Yeah, so the one that just unveiled is the second gen. So it's basically the same, similar car. And I was commenting that it's the same size as the Bolt EV. So it's a subcompact.
Same size. Got it.
So it's nothing like a Model Y, which is a size or two bigger than that.
So yeah, the article I thought was kind of interesting because it showed a whole bunch of new pictures of it. It looked pretty sporty, I thought, and I like the light bar that kind of goes around the hood of the vehicle. I think the Fisker Ocean design is much superior, but it's neat though that there's people keep coming out with new looking designs. So that was another one that caught my eye in the notable EV news. And then we ended up getting what else did we got? We got Rivian issuing green bonds. Was that yesterday or the day before? And that was $1.3 billion in green bonds. And the stock got walloped in doing that. It dropped by 10% yesterday or the day before after they announced that. So I thought that was actually kind of big news if you follow EV stocks. That was kind of an interesting one. And what else did we have over there? We had I mentioned the podcast earlier, just around used car demand and supply. I guess there's a supply shortage. Usually they have a 70-day or 75-day supply of used cars. Right now, the average is 40 days, according to the podcast I listened to, and that is posted over on the Fiskerati forum. So lots of stuff going on. Do you guys have anything that you've been seeing or tracking that you thought was interesting, worth mentioning?
Yeah. So we've got Nissan and Tesla with the steering wheels.
Toyota. Falling off steering wheels.
Yeah.
Go grab mine here.
What's that behind
Matt's got his back there.
That's funny.
So it's right here. The bolts weren't installed, so in the center. So
look what
that's what it looks like, by the way. So
yeah, look what Matt does for you. For this particular episode, he goes to his Tesla.
I took my car apart.
His steering wheel off, just so he can show where the bolts are, where they're not fastened properly.
So another thing is Toyota again is recalling their cars because the wheels are falling off again. So
what's going on?
I heard that one again. You were talking about Rivian. Rivian actually has stated that they are upping their production to 50,000 vehicles for next year. They didn't quite make it to their 25,000 that they wanted this past year, but they're bumping it up to 50. And I guess there's rumors that internally they're working and wanting to get more like 60 to 65,000 out next year. Of course, Ford is upping their Lightning production to 150,000 next year, and boosting the Mach-E production. Also, instead of working on other EVs to come out, they are deciding to push those vehicles out. And then I saw one really cool thing, and I am going to share my screen because I thought this thing was awesome. I just came across it. So I can pull it up here.
Jim, that's funny.
There we go.
Matt's just hanging his steering wheel back up for the people that are listening in.
All right,
that'd be
I shared
a good security deterrent. Yeah, let's take a look.
Okay. So I got several pictures with this, but this is the Lightship L1. It's an electric RV, and it propels itself. It has an 82 kilowatt battery built in, so that way whenever you're towing, you don't lose range. If your truck says 300 miles, it's going to get 300 miles because that thing will actually propel itself while you're driving. So It is 6 foot tall, I think they said, in transport mode, and expands to 10 foot tall.
Okay.
It's
Who makes that?
27 feet long.
Who makes that?
They said you can even use it with a gas. You can pull it with a gas truck, and if your gas truck gets 25 miles a gallon, it'll get 25 miles a gallon pulling this thing. Says prices will start at 125,000. But it's really, they said, you know, that's actually a decent price for an RV. And they said there was a lot of people worked on this. There were people from Rivian, looks like it says Proterra, Lucid, Zoox, and Tesla. People all were working on this together. So I will pop you up maybe another picture real quick.
So who makes that? I didn't catch who made that particular EV trailer thing.
Let me see here. It just says Lightship L1 electric RV. L1. So I'm guessing the Lightship RV, I guess, is what the brand actually is.
That is the brand, Lightship RV. That's the website, lightshiprv.com. Yeah.
So there's another picture of it. Oh, and here, this is actually, I'm going to get you a different picture because this actually has solar on top of it also when it opens up.
All right. Let's see your screen. That's pretty cool.
Let me see here.
I've got the website up too. Let's check this out here. Let me throw up their website real quick.
Yeah, you might be able to pull these up a little bit better than I can here.
Let's see what this is. They have a little video too.
Oh, here we go. Okay, there's a solar picture. Somebody, I think Steve was asking him when it was available, and it looks like you can reserve one for $500 at lightshiprv.com and expect to receive it in late 2024 when production begins. And it does qualify for tax credit.
Wow, that's pretty neat. I guess that's the first step, is building a kind of like an RV that you tow. Maybe at some point there'll be a really cool RV that you can actually drive.
Yeah. Well, the cool thing about it is that they're putting that battery on there and you know, a drive motor. So that way you don't have to stop all the time and try to, you know, fill up your truck. You can drive the whole 300 miles if you want to.
And those solar panels are probably helpful too.
Yeah, I think it's 3 kilowatt, I think it said, or something like that. Let me see if I can look that up again. I think it said 3. Yeah, it can 3 kilowatt of energy.
Of solar panels.
Yeah, that's a lot of solar, right? Compared to the Fisker Ocean has 1. Granted, this is probably 5 times the size of the Fisker Ocean.
It's like a small house roof. Yeah.
Yeah, it is, right?
Yeah.
So what do you have, Matt? Cool. You have an image too that you have here. What is this?
Yeah, I want to bring up, let's see if I can.
Oh, it's the other Toyota BZ4X or Subaru Solterra.
Last week the third one, maybe the third one's the winner here, but this was announced last week. The Lexus RZ. Basically, it's the size of it's the same size as the Toyota BZ 4X. And what I noticed looking at the configurator is they use blue Alcantara on the seats, like a certain other car we know.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting that that they're doing that. And so far, the driving reviews are kind of mediocre because it's kind of expensive with very little range. As you can see, it's 65,000 right there, and yeah,
what, 220?
Yeah,
It's like 220 on the range, or 218 or something weird like that.
Yeah, so kind of expensive for what for the range.
So you mentioned interior, Matt. One thing that I thought was actually kind of funny, I read an article yesterday. I posted it online. It had to do with how interiors are being remade. And Fisker was mentioned in the article how they use vegan interior that incorporates, reclaimed fishing nets, worn T-shirts or used T-shirts, recycled or upcycled T-shirts, and repurposed rubber from like the Bridgestone tires. But there was a line that I thought was funny. It said the Mercedes Vision EQXX concept used biodegradable biosteel fiber for door handles and artificial leather made from cactus and mushrooms with half the carbon impact for the seats. So seats made from cactus
I saw that
and
post.
mushrooms. That's crazy. I never seen that before. Pretty wild.
Huh.
Yeah, if you dry out if you've ever seen like a dried mushroom, they're hard as a rock and leathery feeling. So maybe if you dried out enough of them and squished them all together, maybe you can create some pretty cool leather material or fake leather material. Yeah. Anything else, Jim, that you saw that was kind of interesting to highlight?
No, I think that was about it.
Yeah.
This week.
Yeah, I kind of a quiet week, but yeah, some neat stuff that pops up here and there. So let's go ahead and take some questions. Let's see if we have any questions on the chat. I haven't really looked too much at the chat, but let's go ahead and take a look and see if there are anything. So we have one question here back when we were doing the discussion about trade-ins. I wonder if you trade in with Fisker, what do they do with those cars? Now, I think I can answer that question. You two feel free to chime in if you'd like. But I read an article that I want to say, if you search trade-in on the Fiskerati site, they partnered with a company, I want to say it was Cox Automotive. And Cox Automotive owns a company who does car wholesaling. So my guess is the partner is Cox Automotive, who's going to be managing the trade-ins. And I want to say it was Mandiant, but that's not the right name, but it was something like that, who does all these car auctions. And they're probably going to be sold at auction. So they're obviously not going to pay what the consumer would pay on, if I'm selling my car on Craigslist or I'm selling my car on eBay Motors or whatever site you sell cars on, kbb.com. They're not buying them for that price because they're going to then resell them probably to dealerships who are then going to turn around and increase the price by 10 or 15% and make a profit. So we're probably going to get 10 to 15% less than what we probably should if we use that service because they're going to be wholesaled, is my guess. That's just a guess. But
that's one of the reasons why I'm looking at doing a private sale of my Tesla come May or June. I've had good luck. The last 3 cars I owned, I sold, and I usually sold them within a week or so using like cars.com and Craigslist and all a whole bunch of them, and maybe cost me $20. And for me, it was worth about 50% more for my Mini that I sold than Tesla or CarMax offered. So it was quite, several $1,000s more that I got by selling it myself, which I thought was definitely worth it.
Yeah, and if you already own the car, if you already paid it in full, you have the title.
And you got the title,
so,
yes.
That's
so
having
the
key. The title already makes it a little easier than having to deal with a finance company where you have to get a cashier's check and pay it off, and then you get the title and you have to sign over the title. It adds a whole other complexity to the process. So yeah, we'll likely sell ours through a private party too. Kelly Blue Book's website was pretty good. Auto Trader, we used to have Auto Trader at the 7-Eleven, and they used to print all these Auto Traders. So maybe autotrader.com is a good place.
I think I use them too. Yeah.
Yeah. That's probably where we'll go. We'll do something like that. And a lot of these sites now have like crazy distribution where while you list it on, say, Auto Trader, they then broadcast it to a whole bunch of other sites. And I think Cox Automotive, if I remember correctly, owned kellybluebook.com, and they may have owned autotrader.com. I don't know. Let's see here. Cox Automotive companies. Let's see their brands.
While you're looking at that,
Manheim was the company I was thinking of earlier. Manheim is the company that does the auctions. So that's the company partnered with Cox Automotive. Let's see here. Consumer brands. They do own Kelley Blue Book, and they do.
I forgot to mention, I do have one more notable EV thing.
Oh yes, fire away.
So
dealerauction.com. So they have a dealer.com too. Geez, a lot of them. Cox Automotive, that is. What do you got?
Who's next?
Oh, you, Jim. What do you got? What's your EV news?
I wasn't sure if you were done yet. Okay, so everybody remembers that I used to have a Ford Lightning reservation.
Correct.
And I sold that reservation, right? Sold that reservation for $3,000. And now if you look at Ford Lightnings, they are all selling for MSRP or below now.
Oh, wow. So that was a good sale.
I just actually, this past weekend, I got to see a Lightning up close. Someone in our Tesla local club bought one, and it was like a light blue color. Man, it was really nice. He got the, what's the one step down from Platinum is the one he got. So it had a ton of features.
Lariat.
Lariat. Interior was beautiful. I mean, it was nice.
Mm-hmm. They are. They're real. Those are nice. If you get the extended range battery, which you probably did with a Lariat, they're way better than the standard. They ride completely different. I'm guessing because of the weight of the battery, and the extended range battery, that it makes things settle in a little bit better than the standard did. And it seems like the system with that extended range battery, we didn't notice as much range loss when we had it for that week, and it was like the same temperatures we had when we had that standard, but that standard had lost every day we were getting, and we're like, what is going on? This is ridiculous. So yeah, they're nice trucks, and I like the frunk. The frunk is the biggest thing because it is right at your like waist height where you can just load stuff into it. The Rivian has a pretty good size one, but you still have to, it lifts the hood up, so you still have to reach over and set things down inside of it. So, but yeah, the Lightnings are nice.
So we got a couple people asking questions about tax rebates and things like that. So someone asked, don't you get a California rebate as well, like $2,500? So as far as I know, California does have something called, and they did, I don't know if they still have it, but it was called like the California Clean Vehicle Rebate. And we ended up getting that when we purchased the Tesla Model 3 in 2021. Maybe the Fisker Ocean will be eligible for that. I'm not sure. But we're going to definitely try to take advantage of as many rebates as possible. Not sure what, each state, I think Fisker linked at one point, they linked somewhere on their website to a tax incentive website that you could go to. I don't see that on the site anymore. It used to be down at the very footer of the site. So definitely worth investigating. Each state's going to be different. Do we have any update on the EV tax credit? I think there was some updates potentially. The form, I think, now matches, or the language now matches the form from what I've seen. So people who had the Fisker Ocean 1 pre-ordered, they would be eligible for the EV tax credit. They would have to amend their taxes, though, their 2022 taxes, if they didn't take delivery before filing. So that's something to check out as well. Make sure, obviously, to speak to a tax consultant in your area to make sure how that works for your particular tax situation. But definitely got some guidance there. It looks like our IRS provided some guidance. So something to check out. There's a post on the Fiskerati forums that kind of goes deep into it. By no means are we experts at it. Don't even know too much about it, but I did see something. And there's a couple forums. There's actually EV tax credit info just received from Rivian, posted from user No Frunk. So he just posted that right before we did the show tonight, and it looks like an email directly from Rivian. Let me go ahead and read it here. It says, the IRS has released guidance on how taxpayers with valid written binding offer contracts signed on or before August 15th, 2022 can claim the original EV tax credit without restrictions on vehicle MSRP, buyer income, and manufacturer requirements, even if they don't take delivery of the vehicle until 2023 or later. To claim this credit, you can use Form 8936. Here are the instructions and IRS guidance. Please note 2 considerations from the guidance. Quote, to elect the credit under the prior rules, you must elect the credit on your 2022 tax return after you take delivery of the vehicle. Depending on the date the vehicle is delivered, you can claim the credit on your original superseding or amended 2022 tax return. From the instructions, quote, taxpayers who took delivery in 2023 or after must use August 15th, 2022 as the date placed in service when filling out Form 8936. For more information, you can go to the support center on the Rivian website. As a reminder, ultimate eligibility for tax credits is determined by the IRS. We recommend to consult with a tax professional or for questions about your specific situation. So that was an email that this user in the forum received about their probably Rivian pre-order. So that sounds to me, from reading this, good news for people who pre-ordered the Fisker Ocean. But as that particular email said, definitely consult with your tax professional. So that answered hopefully the question people had about tax stuff in the chat. Someone has a question. Anyone planning on waiting on the packages or getting them over the air through over-the-air updates? What about you, Matt?
That depends. I mean,
you're getting all of them in the one.
Yes. So if you
what would you do?
So if you're going for the Ultra or Sport, I think it depends on 2 things. I think taxes, sales tax in your area. For example, my state sales tax is like 7 3/4, but my auto purchase tax is 3%. So it would be cheaper to buy it with the car, if the option packages are the same. The other feature is if you want to build it into your loan, some people may want to do that and not have to pay a separate fee later on. So it really depends. Another third option is maybe Fisker reduces the price of the options or maybe puts them on sale. Tesla did that for autopilot, and FSD every once in a while had them on for various prices to get the ball rolling. Maybe Fisker may do something like that.
Subscription.
Yeah, subscription.
Subscription would be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is a subscription, I think, for the full self-driving mode or something like that, right? There's some sort of a subscription I've seen.
Yep.
$100 a month or thereabouts, maybe a little bit more than that.
For Tesla, it's 200, I think.
Okay, yeah. 200.
Yeah.
I saw something like that somewhere where I went. I think it was on the Tesla website. Okay, what else? I think
they probably make more money off the subscriptions than if they did a subscription than if they were just trying to sell it outright.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because I'd never pay $15,000 for that.
That is crazy now. I thought $10,000 was a lot of money, but I wanted to experience
even Fisker, they probably will. Yeah. Fisker will probably make more money with the subscription because if somebody looks at it and goes, it'll cost me an extra $100 or something like that a month, or $100, or say they do a 3-year price. So like $500 for 3 years of this, and then you have to renew it. They would probably sell that a lot easier than people having to drop $6,000 to get, certain features. So I think that would be their best option.
Yeah, a couple people asked in the chat to you, Matt, is that a Tesla steering wheel hanging on the wall that fell off? Yeah. Funny.
Oh, I saw a question here asking about the Fisker Lounge for LA. Has there been any news in the past week or so?
I haven't seen any news.
Besides, I guess what was it? The Instagram, I guess, video of Henrik, right? That was last week.
And walking. Right? I think we showed that last week. Mid Q2, so May is what I think we're seeing, even though on the actual wall, the storefront in front says March 2023. They said mid Q2 2023, so that would put us in like May timeframe. Maybe they'll do it sooner. Maybe they'll surprise us. Maybe they're trying to manage our expectations. Maybe they're going to exceed our expectations, right? Maybe they'll open it up in March. Who knows? Somebody ended up saying, let's see here. Oh, one thing I wanted to know. One thing I was talking to somebody about. Delivery. So we saw some more sequence numbers delivered. There's a bunch of people that got lots. We should have mentioned this earlier, probably around production goals and things like that. But a lot of people ended up getting their sequence numbers over the past, maybe a Saturday, we saw a lot of sequence numbers, tons. I think I published an article that had like 10 of them in it. And the neat thing on those is we saw more delivery quarters released. And there was a lot of people had end of Q2, Q3. And then I think I saw one or two that had Q3. So those are the delivery quarters of the people who got their most recent sequence numbers this past weekend, who I think had a lock date on February 27th or somewhere thereabouts. So instead of, so our delivery quarter was Q2. We've seen a lot of people get Q2. We saw a few people in Denmark get a Q1. And then we ended up seeing now people getting end of Q2, Q3. So at some point, and then we got a couple people that got Q3. So just interesting. All of them are supposed to be delivered by September of this year. So that's kind of where we are there. Geez, I'm dying over here. Crazy cough. All right, let's see what else we have. Do you guys see any other questions?
I'm looking through. I think we covered a lot of these.
Oh, I got sick like 10 days ago. I think maybe last time before our other call. Oh, dying. One thing we did, which was actually kind of fun between last time and this time, we got to go play in the snow in Julian. That was pretty cool. Had a snowball fight down in Julian. It's like East San Diego County. And we actually had snow. I think we mentioned it. Well, there was snow last week. I don't know what day that was. It might have been before the last episode. But we had like crazy hail, nothing stuck. And then like a few snow flurries. And we're like right on the beach. Or right next to the beach, not on the beach, but right next to the beach, and pretty odd, but really neat.
We've had a total of like 4 inches for the entire winter so far.
We got 0.
We had a really, really nasty one last Friday, and it's like 50-mile-an-hour winds and turned from rain to snow to slushy, nasty mess all over the place, and then was gone 2 days later because it was 60 degrees on Tuesday. It was almost 70 on Tuesday.
So speaking of winter and cold weather, someone mentioned packages earlier, right? Buy them over the air, get them with. What about the winter package for the people that don't get the winter package as a part of their build? Is that something that, if out of all the packages, is that a good one to get because you can then precondition your battery, or do you think preconditioning will come maybe even without the winter package?
I think it mentioned that preconditioning was remote preconditioning. I think it was. I'm not sure if it's something that could be built into the car, like scheduling, which may be separate. Yeah, it's not very clear.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking of. Okay, let's see here. Funny, a few people last week we were talking about sweatshirts and jackets and all sorts of Fisker merch. By the way, Jim, Rosanna still wants your water bottle. She hasn't forgotten about that.
No, I paid too much for that water bottle. I paid way too much for that water bottle. She can't have it now.
Someone had a question about how many Fiskers were on that ship. The person who posted on the Fisker forum said 10. That's the number that we saw on the manifest. So that's the number that we're going with. We thought about 12, 10 or 12. So that's the number that we believe based on what we've seen. Any news on the LA Lounge? We got that one. Also, we haven't had much news on the Munich Marion class lounge. That's the other one that should be coming online around the same time as the Fisker Lounge in Los Angeles. We have a couple people on here, Tommaso, who lives not too far from the LA Lounge. Maybe he can go by and give us an update on that one if he likes going over there. It's a cool place. I love it. I wish we were closer to Los Angeles. Otherwise, I'd peek over there quite often. Maybe they'll leave that door unlocked and you can walk through like Henrik Fisker and have a sneak peek. But yeah, that's probably going to be the first one because it's in the backyard of Fisker. Somebody asked, what about probably maybe in regards to the EV tax credit? Not sure, but they said, what about the battery material requirements? We don't really know much about that yet. I don't think that bit has been released. It seems like dribbles of information for the EV tax credit. And I think we're still waiting on that information to be released. It was just that form and pre-ordering and things like that for last year. That's kind of what the IRS has been caught up to. But I think we're still
plus for the Ocean for this coming year, it doesn't matter because it's made in Austria, so it really doesn't matter.
Correct. Yeah, they need a manufacturing plant in North America in order to take advantage of the upcoming one. And then the battery materials had to be sourced, a certain percentage had to be sourced in North America. And yeah, that's a TBD. I don't think we have all the info on that one yet. And like Matt mentioned, Fisker would need a manufacturing facility here. And I think we talked about a few months back, maybe a month or two back, how Magna was looking to buy some, maybe they expanded some of their manufacturing presence here in North America. I think it was Canada. And they're clearly looking at, trying to find ways to help their customer being Fisker and others around those particular requirements. So we'll keep tracking that one and probably be on the forum. That's definitely not my skill set, but happy to share what we find. We do have a question here. When do you think Fisker will do the official unveiling of Pear, Alaska, and Ronin? Well, the official unveiling, the Pear to me, in some extent, was unveiled with the Drive, but granted, we couldn't go walk up, kick the tires. But we did see the thing driving. We got video of an actual.
It's the most, it's the closest for a production too of those three. So,
yeah, I think we get that. I heard
end of summer. I thought I heard something about end of summer, but.
It's quite possible end of summer. I think the Pear prototype is supposed to be revealed by the end of the year, like where we'd actually be able to go look at it and see it. And then we ended up getting something on the earnings call where they said they were going to unveil, they being Fisker, going to unveil their whole lineup and talk about their lineup and things like that. So maybe at that point you get a peek at the Ronin. That one is. That one we'll probably get next, but maybe we'll get them all at the same time. And then Alaska, Henrik said that they're in the process of making it and maybe building a prototype. So maybe we'll get all of them at the Investor Day. The last Investor Day, I believe it was I got to double check here, but I think it was June. It was called, what was it called? The Fisker Annual Shareholder Meeting? Let's see. 2022. What month was that? It was in June. June 7th is when it was. So I don't know if they stick to the same cadence or not, but we're not too far from June. So yeah, if they stick to the same cadence, and they did say they're going to share it on Investor Day, maybe that'll be June, but probably not. My guess is it'll be later in the year, but maybe it'll be June. Maybe that'll be when the next, maybe the 2023 annual shareholder conference. We'll have to keep tabs on that one too. And then we have, let's see here. Looks like a couple more. Anyone know if they'll be adding any other wheel options? I've seen pics of the car with wheels that are not in the configurator, and will they be adding a roof rack? So we have seen loads of wheels. Some have made it to the configurator. Some, I believe, may have just been prototype wheels that probably will never show up in the configurator. We've seen the Vortex wheel in silver. Some people believe they've seen the Vortex wheel in black. I can't tell if it's black or silver in some of these images, but it could be the lighting. Maybe there's not a black Vortex wheel, but maybe there will be, because there are black slipstream wheels, and there's also black air glider wheels. So maybe we'll get a black Vortex wheel. That is that with wheels. Maybe there'll be other options. Who knows? I believe there will be other wheel options. There's certainly going to be third-party companies, aftermarket wheels that'll be available for the Fisker Ocean. That is confirmed. I know that for a fact. And with regard to the roof rack, we know there's going to be a roof rack. We saw the roof rack over in, I want to say Stockholm,
Sweden,
right?
Sweden.
Yeah, eCar Expo, and that was an INNO rack, INNO rack, and that company's been around for a long time making roof racks. So we just don't know, will that be available in the configurator or not? I don't know where that'll be. Maybe it'll be on the shop Fisker section.
Yeah, I'm betting that's an easy add-in later.
Yeah. So that's the only people we know who are making a roof rack. Maybe that'll be the one that Fisker sells. So that was the one they showed off. Maybe it'll be a Fisker branded one. Maybe it'll be an INNO rack branded one. And then there'll probably be other companies that come out with roof racks. Just like there'll be companies that come out with floor mats. Maybe there'll be a WeatherTech floor mat, a rubber floor mat for the Fisker Ocean. Maybe there will. Maybe there won't. But I bet there will. There'll definitely be lots of cool apps.
It's just a matter of time. Yeah.
That's right. What are the links? Let's see here. What are the links? Let's get those. Links to the presenters' YouTube channels. So let me see if I can find those real quick. Or let's see here. YouTube. Yeah. At MTN Ranger. Let's see if I can get that. Okay, here's the first one. For the people who want to follow Matt. There you go. And let's find Jim's channel, OSR Garage. And here is the second one. I hate typing on this keyboard that I have here. I've got I don't know, this crazy keyboard. It's so much harder, believe it or not, to type on this than it is actually I have to unfortunately look sometimes at the keys with this thing versus I don't ever have to look at the keys on my laptop. Oh, I hate this stinking trackpad thing, whatever the heck. Not trackpad, keyboard, wireless keyboard. Just feels so not familiar with it. So let's see here. And then if you're interested in the Fiskerati YouTube channel, we have a YouTube channel as well. You might be watching it right now. If you are and you aren't subscribed, you can hit the subscribe button somewhere on the page. I think it's down below. But you can go ahead and hit that, or you can follow on here.
And don't forget to like this video.
Yeah, like the video. We still have close to 100 people watching us. How is that possible? I don't know, but it's so flattering that we have people that love
because I'm back.
Maybe it's you. Maybe it's you. You're the one.
I think there was only 5 on my side. So
hey, good. That's great. So yeah, go ahead and hit the like button. Right now it shows 65 likes on this particular video. Maybe we can get that to 75. So in the count of 3, If you haven't already pressed the like button, on the count of 3, hit the like button. All right. 1, 2, 3, bam! Hit the like button. Maybe we'll see a couple more likes. It went from 65 to 67. Okay, we got 2 more likes. Hey, thanks everybody. So what else do we have here? We have any more questions?
Did Jim give his update from last time about?
I don't know. We didn't get 75 likes. We didn't get 75 likes. I think we had to get 75 likes last time. I don't know if that offer's still on the table. Yeah, like Kevin says, come on, guys, 62 likes. He deserves over 100. Yeah, it'd be great to get more likes, of course. Not for the sake of getting them, but if you're into Fisker and you like, whatever we're doing and you want other people to see it, when you like it, it then recommends it to other people that are on YouTube. So it helps everybody out at the end of the day, as long as you enjoy what we're doing and you think other people would enjoy it. So it's now at 71 likes is what we're being told. So another thing that I wanted to mention, we have one more question here. When do you think we will see an Ocean in sun-soaked? Copper looks gorgeous on certain cars. Curious. So when I was at the Graz factory, there was we couldn't take pictures of this, but there was like a presentation that they did right in front of the paint booth. And on the paint booth, there was this board. It was like an easel, and it had like it had all the paint colors listed. And it had the launch paint colors, and then it had 2 other tranches of paint colors. So it had, launch colors, next launch color, next colors, next colors. I reached out to Fisker to ask them if they would share that, and I never got a. I go, hey, we'll look into it. Maybe we'll share it. Maybe we won't. I did see a video sometime in the last, I don't know, week or 2 weeks from Henrik, or maybe he mentioned it on the earnings call. I can't remember where I heard it. Oh, he's on the earnings call. He actually did kind of confirm that there's going to actually be 3 different releases of colors, right? We have the ones at launch that we all know about. And then there's going to be 2 others. He didn't say, obviously, what's going to be in the next 2, but my guess is the sun-soaked is going to be probably at the end. That's a guess. So who knows when that comes out. But they did say all the launch colors, all of them, are going to be available in 2023. Just the people who are getting the Fisker Ocean 1 are only going to be able to get the launch colors. So if you have a desire for, say, the solar orange, chances are you're going to be able to get that if you order an Extreme, an Ultra, or a Sport. But if you have an Ocean 1, you're stuck to, the 7, I believe, launch colors. Many of them are actually quite beautiful. There are a lot of earth tones, a lot of blues and stuff like that. And mine's I don't know if Night Drive's an earth tone. It's the color of the sky, but it's the one that we chose. We like that one. Matt with Mariana. And that's a beautiful color. It's the shiny version of the Big Sur Blue. Big Sur Blue is the matte version of that, and that's cool. So I think we ended up getting, we're stuck at 72 likes. So maybe we'll now 70, 71, 72. So that's kind of where we are. What else? Any guesses on the price? The top end price of the Pear, the Extreme version of the Pear, if they go with the Extreme, Ultra, and Sport.
You know what my theory is?
I'll listen to you, and then I'll tell you what
my theory is. Since the Pear low end Sport is about, what is it, 8,000 less than the Ocean.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be, I think, 8 to 10,000 less than the Ocean's high end Extreme. So I'm guessing in the 50s.
Yeah, I would say the Extreme version of the Pear would be 49,900.
Yeah.
Or 999, whatever.
Yep,
under 50.
999.
Yep. That would be my guess. And then you're going to end up getting the mid version of the Pear, whatever that is. This is a guess. This is all guesses, obviously. 39,999. So 29,999. 39,999, 49,999. That's my guess. Who knows? But there will be availability. There'll be options that you can upgrade, right? And then you can spend more than that, of course, if you want to. In the range, I think Fisker ended up saying last week, the range on the Pear is going to be the top end is going to be over 300 or over 300 miles. So that's pretty cool. All right. Is Henrik still in Graz? I don't have no idea. Probably, he said he's there all the time. And will there be a Pear 1? There probably will be some sort of a launch edition. That seems to have gone over really well with the Fisker Ocean. So chances are there will be one for the Fisker Pear, but we'll have to wait and see.
Here's another thing.
Yeah.
Do you think Pear is going to be the final name?
No, I think they're going to change it. Yeah, but we do obviously see it in all the images, right? And in the front, it lights up and says Pear. My guess is they stick with the theme around sustainability, and it's going to end up being. It could be, the Fisker Forest. It could be the Fisker River. It could be, I don't know, something around sustainability, like the ocean. I couldn't tell you what, but my guess is it's a theme around sustainability. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's
Eco Wagon.
Eco Wagon. Yeah, I think ocean, river, stream. Yeah, I think
pond.
River could be cool. Pond, right? If you're going with bodies of water, I don't know if that's what they'll stick
Can
with.
keep the same forest as Pear, I guess, if you use lake or pond.
Yeah, forest could be good because you want to protect forest, just like you want to protect the ocean.
Swamp, probably not. No.
Yeah, who knows what? And then the Ronin won't be the last name. That'll be a name change too. I bet it won't be the Ronin.
Oh, Ronin sounds like a cool name.
It does sound cool, right? But I couldn't see that being the final name. But maybe it will. I think those are just project names. That's like always an honor when you work for these companies and you get to help name.
We hit 75.
Oh my God!
75 likes.
Wow. 75 likes.
Pressure's on.
Pressure's on. So I think we're going to end up getting name changes, and Alaska also is probably a code name, I would imagine, for a truck. So who knows what they'll be? Yeah, Pear, personal electric, automotive revolution. Maybe. I think that's what it's called. Or stands for. So yeah, that's
the Fisker grip.
What'd you see? I didn't. You guys saw something funny on there.
Yeah,
it must be the name. People naming the car. Is that what it is?
Yeah, the second one.
Fisker drip.
Yeah, I don't get that, but okay. Fisker wave. That sounds pretty cool. Yeah, some cool names. That would be a fun contest for Fisker to do. Would be to allow their customers to name the car.
Yeah,
or at least give them suggestions.
Mick Carface thing.
That'd be neat though. Like I've run contests in the past where you can end up doing. You don't have to choose. A company gets to choose which one, but you're letting people submit all the names, and then you can let people upvote them. And just like the earnings call, right? They end up taking a lot of questions. The funny thing on this last earnings call, they didn't answer any one of those questions. They didn't say, "Hey, we're taking this investor question and gonna say it and have somebody answer it." They didn't do any of those. So kind of pointless on that note. But naming the car, that'd be a fun contest to run. And we still haven't heard about that sweepstakes we talked about last time. Who won the sweepstakes? Haven't seen anything on that one yet. Haven't seen a winner announced. So that's fun, talking about naming the car. We get a lot of crazy names. That'll be a fun one. Maybe we should do that on one of these upcoming ones. Let's name the next vehicle, and we'll see how that goes. Come up with our own little poll. So someone had a question. I don't follow Sandy Monroe very, very frequently. I know you ran into him, Matt. Do you
Yeah,
follow him often? Someone said, has he ever
I
interviewed
had a
Hendrik Fisker?
conversation with him in Florida, and I talked to him about the ocean and Fisker in general, and he did not have anything good to say about Henrik.
Okay.
He just did not like him, so I doubt he'll
So he's never done an
interview
with
him. So
okay.
Yeah, Sandy's a little bit of a Tesla guy.
He's kind of a crotchety guy too. So
yeah.
There are some funny names for the Fisker Pear. That is funny. All right. So I think that's about it for episode 18. I've had a good time. Do you guys have anything else you want to share or anything else you want to chat about before we call it a night? I think we've been on here for close to 2 hours. Good heavens.
Yep.
Where does the time go?
I'm
good. Since we got to 75, if you guys want, I will give everybody a little info, because Rosanna, I think, is about to have a conniption in the chat over there. Some of them watched my videos and stuff, so they were kind of getting in there. So I'll share some photos with you and talk real quick and let everybody know what's going on.
Okay, what's going on with you, Jim, and your family?
Yeah, so this we did. I did this video last week. We hit 30,000 miles on it, and it's a great car. We really did like it. The only major issues was that in the winter it had a huge range loss. We were looking at 20 to 30% range loss. It is a great car if you're in a warmer climate, because during the summer it was great. We easily got the 250 to 260 miles that it claimed, and no issues. But it did have a lot of software glitches, little software issues. Nothing major. We never had any major things happen, but other people did, and a lot of that is brought up in this video. But overall, we liked the car, and the car did great. We never stopped on us. Never failed us. So that was the update on that. And then I just dropped this one today, and there you go there. So this is what Rosanna was referring to. A couple of them had watched
What'd you
this.
drop? What'd you do here? Goodbye.
So I dropped the goodbye video, just to kind of let everybody know. We were saying goodbye to the ID4. Why?
Oh, no.
And I guess the title of it was our love for the car, our trust in Volkswagen, Volkswagen build quality, put it that way, and then the lies about the software and the disappointment in the range. So the lies with the software, they were supposed to be doing over-the-air updates that they, from the beginning when they brought this car out, they said there was going to be updates, and they were planning on every 12 weeks. The first update was that they actually mentioned, went out in articles and everything back in 2021, in the summer of 2021. The first one then that we heard of later that I did a video on happened in spring of 2022. We didn't get that. About a month later, they said, no, you have to now take it into Volkswagen, and they have to replace the 12-volt battery, and then they also have to do the update there, which was going to be update 2.4. Then you would have access for the over-the-air update. Well, they were having all kinds of problems over in Europe.
The update to get the update?
It was just, an update. Yeah, you had to get a hardware update to get the update. That they had been saying you were going to get these from the beginning. So all of a sudden now they're like, oh, we can't over-the-air update. We have to do this before we can over-the-air update. It's just running around in circles. So then there was a lot of complaints that were going on, and some other YouTubers that have ID4s that had made issues. And then all of a sudden, they said we get an email saying, "Hey, we're going to do the updates. We'll be getting them before the end of the year." Then in December, I got one saying before the end of the year that we're starting these updates. They're going to be by VIN number in batches. So we knew that first editions were going to get it first. Never made it to us. And in February, they said they were stopping it because they were having issues with compatibility with some of the first editions. They were bricking some of them. Things were going haywire in the cars. So they stopped that so they could iron that out. And a week later, we get another email saying, "Hey, guess what? There's a battery recall. That your battery could actually reset itself while you're driving, which would lose power. You could cause an accident, all this other stuff, but we'll let you know by March 31st what we're going to do to fix it." So at that point, it was going to be 2 months that we were going to have to wait to get this fix on the car. So that was the last straw for us. And I started looking around. And of course, I have a dealership friend of ours. And they got something in, and we took it for a drive and had it for a weekend and decided to keep it. So that will be this picture coming up.
Oh, there's a drum roll.
Yep. Anybody got a drum roll?
Yeah, man.
More drumming.
Drum roll.
All right, here we go.
There you go.
We got a Mustang Mach-E Premium, 270-mile range. Now, people are going to make comments about it doesn't have a heat pump either. No, it does not have a heat pump. But they just did. I got 3 updates. 3 updates in a week after getting this car. So they changed the whole interface is different, a bunch of stuff. One thing that they did add, and this is the hugest thing, is that they added preconditioning to the car. So now we can, with the phone on the app, we can set it up a departure time. And when we do that departure time, it will precondition the battery and the cabin. So the car is warm and the battery's warm before we leave. No matter how cold it is outside, it's going to limit that range loss. We're still going to lose some just because it has to try to maintain its warmth and whatever. But you're starting off with everything warm and ready to go. And
Got it.
The other thing is if you use the in-car navigation to navigate to a charger, it will precondition the battery for charging so that you can max out your charging. I did test that. I did set that up, and it was 25 or 27 degrees outside, and I set that up and got to the charger, and when I plugged in, I pulled 160 kilowatts, just took off, ready to go. So that was two pluses. The other thing is it does have 20 more miles of range than what the ID4 had. This is the other point, is that it has a 99 kilowatt hour battery. Only 88 of it is usable. So you got a huge amount of room, a huge buffer in there that they can always open more of that up. And in fact, in the 2022s, they did open it up, opened up to 91 kilowatts. And that gave them, I think it was 280 miles of range, or somewhere around there, 280 to 290. So which they've talked about doing, they just haven't done it yet, was open up to 21s. That means all of a sudden overnight I could end up with another 20 miles of range. And the funny thing is, we bought that for the same price we paid for our ID4.
Very nice.
So, and that car brand new runs around 56 to 58, somewhere in there, because it is fully loaded. Oh, and the other thing is Blue Cruise, hands-free driving on the interstate, and I didn't have to pay $15,000 for it.
That's pretty good. I'm guessing that's your exact one right there. Are those 18-inch wheels or 20-inch wheels?
Those are 19.
19.
That
Okay.
set is 19.
Very nice.
So yeah, and I have a frunk. Haven't used it yet, but I got one.
There you go. So that's big news. You got rid of the
it's just
ID4, got a Mustang Mach-E.
yeah.
And what year
And
is it? What year is it? What year is it?
This is a 21.
21.
It's a 21,
okay.
and the color is space white. So it's
Space
a little
white.
gray, a little touch of gray in it. 350 horsepower. It's all-wheel drive. So we got more horsepower. We got all-wheel drive now. Yeah. So there's going to be a lot of videos coming up with that.
Very nice.
So that's
going to be good news.
That'll be
congrats on your purchase.
Yeah. Yeah, we're
pleased
with it.
Yeah.
And I was pointing out, and I showed you guys a picture of the inside of it. Did you notice that the layout is very similar to Fisker? The screen and the small little screen and behind the steering wheel and where the cups are, all of that was really similar. So I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever sat in a Mach-E yet. Maybe walked by one, peeked in the window of one, but I've never actually got in there and played with anything yet.
My wife already had one complaint. Actually, there's two complaints that my wife had. One is the cup holders aren't big enough for her giant water bottle that she has. So we have to buy, she went and got a smaller water bottle that was taller, but we're going to have to get her one of those expander things that sit in there for a bigger water bottle. The second thing was with the Blue Cruise, even if you're not doing hands-free on the interstate and you're on highway, when you turn on your lane centering, it does all of that. The eye tracker is always on. So she got mad because the eye tracker kept telling her to watch the road. Watch the road over and over again. She goes, "This thing is driving me nuts. It's always telling me to watch the road." And my brother sent a message like, well, either the sensor's bad or she might want to watch where her $5,000 or 5,000-pound vehicle is going.
That's right. Does it give you a verbal command like watch where you're going, or is it a beep beep, or what does it do?
It will flash up on the screen and tell you watch the road, and it'll make a sound so you're alerted to what it's telling you. But
got it.
Yeah, she's getting used to it now, but it was really frustrating her at the beginning. It doesn't bother me because I drive the car. I don't turn any of that stuff on unless I'm on the interstate. It was fun to turn it on and just kind of sit here like this for a while. It was kind of interesting to see what it would do, but yeah,
that's really cool.
Pretty cool.
Look forward to that. Continue updates on that. That'd be fun to watch on your channel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, we got 32,000 out of our ID4. And this car was actually was listed at 45 and I got it for 44. So got it down a little bit. That dealership's made some money off of me. So they gave me a little bit of a deal.
Yeah. And also, too, you ended up selling your reservation to that same dealership, right? Your Ford Lightning reservation.
Yeah, it was.
So there you go. That's good, right? Give and take.
Yeah. So, well, not only that, that's where my truck has gone, and now this car, and so I sold that reservation, and like I said earlier, I said they're all selling at an MSRP now. So they actually paid me, and then they're selling it for MSRP.
Yeah,
so they didn't make any money. But yeah, so I traded my truck in for the SUV, so they made some money off of me there, off of my truck anyway, and then now they'll make some money off the ID4. So
that's cool. That's pretty neat. Thank you for the update. Matt, do you have any crazy news you wanna drop? I don't know if you have any, but here's a good time.
Nah, it's been pretty quiet. Nothing earth shattering. So
yeah, same over here. Nothing too crazy. But yeah, that'll do it. We still have a strong group of people hanging out here, it looks like. So thank you everybody for hanging out with us tonight on All Things Fisker. This is episode 18. Maybe we'll be back here next week if there's something to chat about. But until then, everybody have a good night. And everyone on the podcast, thanks for tuning in. And we will talk with you soon. Take care.
See ya.